Welcome back to the rough example Datsun 510. It's been kind of a rough day in the shop today. It's just one of those days where you feel like you're working all day and you didn't get anything done. So basically, I'm trying to figure out how to wire up the cam slash crank sensor here that runs through the distributor and the coil over here. Um, So in effort to not make it easy on myself, I decided to change everything at once. So I've got this new 4-post coil, um, and I'm trying to just see if I can get spark, and it's not producing spark. So the micro squirt manual says if you're not getting any spark, it's probably that you're not sending a crank angle signal correctly. Entirely possible. I mean, I just kind of got this mocked up here, but they have like a testing mode. So I hooked up to the testing mode. It didn't seem like it was doing anything. So I don't know if I'm not doing the testing mode correctly, if I have the coil messed up, if it's the crank angle sensor. I don't know. It's all a mess. Um, I did have some success with my friend Marcus. He came over earlier this week and helped me resolve my mysterious issue with the high beams. So we finally got that sorted out. And then I've just been going through and wiring up. I finally got my stuff for the wideband. So I spent most of the morning wiring up this wideband controller with a new connector here. So I got the new connector because this was all mangled before and it wouldn't go in. So I got that in there and then ended up having some more wiring issues with it. And for some reason, I can't figure out how to get the illumination to work. It might be that it just doesn't have any extra illumination, because I do have it to where it'll turn on now, but but then it turns off after a couple seconds because it's hooked up to the fuel pump circuit, which is what micro squirt tells you to do. So I think once the car is fired up and running, I think this should stay on, but I can't figure out how to get the dash lighting to work on it. At one point, I had this all wrapped up nice and put in there, and yeah, it's all torn apart again. So yeah, I'm gonna get that finalized and then do my other two gauges that just need to piggyback off of the lighting circuit on here. And so that ate up pretty much the whole morning, which I thought was going to take like 20 minutes, but usually how it goes. Then I had to tear this back out of the glove box to change some settings on it. So apparently the amped EFI version of MicroSquirt, if you undo these screws and open it up, it has pull-up resistors in there that you can switch on and off, which is really nice because you don't have to solder them in. I had forgotten about that and didn't really know about that until recently I got reminded. So I had gone to the store and bought some resistors and wasted a bunch of time on that. But I guess making a little bit of progress, 2 steps forward, 1 step back on it. The other issue that I have been up against is I went to fill up the transmission with the transmission fluid and realized that I had neglected to torque the bolts between the bell housing and the actual, like, the transmission itself. Because I went under there and it was already leaking. There was barely even any fluid in there, and yeah, it turns out they were basically just finger tight. Um, so now I am trying to do that with the transmission in the car. So now I'm taking the exhaust back off of the car, um, which is, it fits extremely tight. Um, so it's really hard to get the exhaust off of there. But I got to drop the exhaust, lower the transmission down, and I'm hoping I can not have to like actually remove it from the car, but just drop it down enough to get to the last two bolts on the top of it, and then be able to fill it up. Um, and while Marcus was over here, we were trying to bleed the brakes and get some pressure on the clutch master cylinder and on the brakes. We were able to get it to build a little pressure, but I came out the next day to the whole inside of my wheel was coated in brake fluid, and there was brake fluid all over here, so there's definitely something leaking. I'm not totally sure where. I think it might be out of this connection here, so got to fix the brake leaks. Um, so yeah, kind of just one of those days where you're reminded like that this is hard work, and sometimes it's really discouraging. It's trying to maintain perspective on it, but I'm up against a deadline trying to get it done for a show, and that's kind of got me stressed. So I did manage to get these little headlight rings 3D printed. Um, these are going to go in between the headlights and the buckets. I Most people would never need these, but I just was struggling with getting the headlights to sit straight. So I'm just going to cut the tabs off of the bulbs and use these to create some tension on there and get it how I want. So yeah, working on that. And my wheels, I've got a leak on one of them. I'm using this butyl sealant. People say to use silicone. Other people say butyl works better. I decided to try this stuff and did it once, and it leaked. But it's just such a pain to clean up that I'm doubling down on it and going to try it again. And if that still leaks, then I'm going to have to just drown this thing in lacquer thinner and get all of this butyl off of here. But and try silicone. But once that gets put together, then I'll finally have the set of wheels on the car, set of all four. So, um, I did. I had a birthday last week, and my wife bought me this ultrasonic cleaner that's been kind of cool. Just has a big vat in here that I filled up with degreaser. Like it has this basket that you can pull out, and holds pretty big parts. I mean, you could maybe even do like an alternator or something. Like, obviously, you wouldn't put the whole thing in, but almost that size. Um, so yeah, that's been kind of fun. I'm kind of bummed I got it at the end of the project. I don't have a whole lot of greasy parts left to clean, but I did put in my like hood striker, and it stripped it off really well. It doesn't get the rust unless you put like CLR in here. But yeah, I was really impressed. I'd recommend it. Um, so I think that is all I've got today. Um, Hoping that things will kind of smooth out for the rest of the week and be able to make some real progress on this before the car show next month. But yeah, wish me luck, and thanks for watching.